this video has been making its rounds, and it's this black woman who's an actress. She's explaining her issues with dating in LA.
So I need to talk to y'all about something. I recently went to an event and there were about 1,000 people there. And of the couples that were there, about 95% of them were black men with non-black women. The person leading the event was a black man that was married to a white woman. I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. This is pretty much what the dating scene looks like overall in LA. Here are 4 other observations that I picked up on since moving to LA. 1, it's not equal. It's not like I'm seeing a bunch of black women dating outside their race. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. 2, it's gotten so bad that at this point, whenever I do see a black man that's single, the first thing that I'm asking myself is, I wonder if he dates black women. 3, within the past couple months, I've had conversations with multiple black women that actually want to leave LA. Not because of the economy, not because they aren't flourishing in their careers, but simply because they feel like there's no love for them in LA. The fact that I know so many beautiful, talented, compassionate, evolved black women that are all feeling the same way makes no sense to me. And lastly, when you don't see yourself reflected in a space, you feel like you don't exist. As a black woman myself, I can tell you honestly, when it comes to the romantic space, I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA.
And I've been telling black women, like, y'all will take y'all happy asses to one of the capitals of interracial dating, which is LA. Y'all will go overseas, go to these different countries, and expect the small percentage of black men to date y'all asses when damn near the whole country is open to dating outside of their race. And then you will complain about black men and their dating preferences when everybody is interracially dating. Even black women are trying to interracially date. And I have videos on this because black women never ask black men why. Y'all never ask black men, why are you dating outside of your race? And why are you not trying to marry black women? Y'all just sit there and use shaming language, something about they hate their moms. No, ain't got shit to do with that. Ask them. They've been telling you on these damn podcasts for years. But y'all want to keep running around saying that y'all hate your moms and all this type of foolery. But listen to this. Here we go.
We went to an event and there were about 1,000 people there. And of the couples that were there, about 95% of them were black men with non-black women. The person leading the event was a black man that was married to a white woman. I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. This is pretty much what the dating scene looks like overall in LA.
Why are you focused on what black men are doing? Ma'am, date. Go out there and find you an Enrique or something like that. You in LA. That is literally one of I have stats on this. One of the most, accepting interracial cities that there is in the United States. And you sitting there focused on black men and what they're doing? Why? Focus on what you're doing and go get your ass on the dating market and date.
Or I'll say it again, I think you are allowed to have whatever dating preferences you want. However, simultaneously, this is not the first black woman we've seen complaining that black men aren't dating black women. They're preferring non-black women. So if I were a black woman, I would want to know why exactly this is. I would want to sit down with some black men and ask them specifically, what is it about black women you're not as interested in, or what is it about non-black women you are interested in? And maybe use it as some cause for self-reflection. But all I ever
right? That would only make sense. Ask the black men. Instead of sitting there trying to blame and complain about it, ask them.
see these black women do talking about the issue is complaining about it and hating on black men for having preferences.
This is that simple. And I just don't understand the logic in the way some black women think. Because on one hand, you hear black women complaining that black men date outside their race. But then on the other hand, you have a subset of black women that are saying that they prefer other races of men. How can those two coexist? So it's either or. But the statistics show that black women are the least likely to marry outside of their race.
According to a 2010 Pew Research Center report, Black women are the least likely group of women to marry, especially outside of their own race.
Especially with white men. So I get that you're upset that you're not getting the dating and marriage preferences or the options that Black men have, but you can't blame Black men for that. You have to look internally and ask yourselves, well, maybe we may be doing something wrong, and we need to ask these Black men, what do we need to improve? But no, Black women won't do that for some odd reason. And it is always confusing to me because, and I've explained this before, it's like when you go to a grocery store and y'all went down the cereal aisle, right? When you go down the cereal aisle, they got all these bright colors of cereal boxes, and they do that for kids because they want to appeal to kids. When kids see a bright ass, a cockatoo or some shit on a Fruit Loops box, they can be like, "Oh, mom, I want that," and it makes the parents buy the kids the cereal box. So they all bright. But let's say that you was going down the cereal box aisle and you look down at the very bottom shelf and you see this cereal box that's just black. It has no coloring, no nothing, no advertisement, no cartoon, nothing. It's just a black box sitting right there. That box stays there for years and years. Nobody buys it. So the company goes back when they have their meeting and like, hey, man, why is nobody buying my black box cereal? What do we need to do? That company will sit there and say, it's everybody else's fault. They don't see how good we are, so it's all y'all's fault that y'all ain't buying our black box cereal. Instead of asking, well, maybe we need to spice it up a bit and put some advertising on it. Maybe at least tell them what the box has in it, show them a picture of it. Maybe we need to improve our marketing strategy instead of blaming everybody else that shops at this market. That's how Black women approach the dating market. It's not our fault. It's all y'all's fault. Even though all the statistics show that Black women are the least married and the most divorced, y'all will sit y'all happy asses there and blame everybody for not seeing the beauty in y'all black boxes. Does that make any sense? Okay, and I hate to use that example because I know the young kids use box as a euphemism for vagina, but I didn't try to marry the two. But y'all know what I'm talking about. It's insane to me that you could just blame everybody else for not seeing the beauty. And I hate to laugh, but it's just, I don't know how let me stop, man, before I get my ass in trouble. It's just funny to me, man, because it should be simple logic. Like, God, dog, if nobody ain't buying the product, then something may be wrong. Like, God, it can't be everybody else, man. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have used that because I know people box. You see what he did there? No, I didn't try to do that. As I'm starting to learn about Black women, more two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, it's up, man. I'm not trying to, shame or anything like that, but I'm like, this should be good information. This is great insight. Why would you not want to talk to Black men and ask them truthfully, like, hey, man, do we need to change? Just sit down and stop coming into it in bad faith. Talking about they hate their moms. Like, oh, your mom fat and black, so why you with that light-skinned girl? Why? It's the stupidest thing ever. If your mom look a certain way, but you don't date the type of women that look like your mother, then that means that you hate your mom.
Why are Black women so angry?
Was your mother angry?
Was your mother angry? Was your mother angry?
They had mama issues, or they had issues to where they never saw their mothers chosen. They never saw their mother being chosen to be somebody's wife. Why a lot of podcasters that have these conversations, I'm like, child, give me the mic, because your mamas wasn't even chosen.
Like, I don't understand the obsession with Black men and their mothers. Of course, I know it's a shaming tactic. I get that part. But I'm just like, why would that even cross your mind? to even put those two together. That is some wild, downright weirdo, creepy shit. It's funny. I'm laughing, but it's sad, man. It's sad. Telling black men that you are relegated to just dating women who look like their moms. That's insane. That's the stupidest thing ever. It's because your mom look a certain way, you got to date women that look just like her. Like, that's kind of perverse. As Christy said, practically, honestly, I don't think they want either. They want to be told that what they have is going, that they have going is working when it's not. Yeah, and that's my thing is, Christy, is that, and that's why I hate those guys who pander. Like, brother, you sending them on dummy missions. You cannot continue telling black women that they're doing nothing wrong, and then they come back with the same results. Nothing. You cannot do that. And I think that's more hurtful to black women than anything. If you sending them out there saying that, yeah, they're going to love you for any size that you are, you know, your attitude is fine, don't lower your standards, wait for that $200,000 guy, even though you got 3 kids running around, it's all their fault. And on my platform, I think we've been very honest about, you know, men and where we need to improve. I've done multiple shows, even cited books from Tavis Smiley in regards to the 10 ways the black community can improve. And I put the emphasis on black men and where we need to improve. We have no problem with pointing out our flaws, but we cannot be the only ones doing that. And that's why a lot of black men are so hesitant and they get offended when I do try and, you know, hold black men accountable, because they're like, hey, man, we can't be the only ones doing the work. So now we got black women telling us we trash, and now we got medium men bringing up all of our faults and trying to hold us accountable. Where does it end? And honestly, I get it. And that's why you don't see a lot of men trying to speak directly to men, because it's like, man, we the only ones doing the work. So, I mean, I definitely understand it. And I know that I'm going to receive pushback when I bring up the income statistics in regards to all the other races of men. When I talk about black men improving their health and focusing on, you know, making sure we continue lowering the crime rates, so on and so forth. I know that I'm going to get pushback because of those particular reasons that I just mentioned. It seems like black men are the only ones that's willing to listen to criticism, but black women aren't. And that's the problem. I mean, it's got to be, you know, both sides.